Hello and welcome to another live stream with the IELTS Grind. So we were a little bit late today, so I do apologize for that. And today what we'll be doing is some mock speaking tests. So if you are interested in joining me for a mock speaking test today, then feel free to either join us via Zoom. You can find the link to the Zoom meeting in the chat box. Alternatively, you can contact us by Messenger and I can send you the link to do that. So I see that we have Raghav in the chat already. So perhaps we can start with a mock speaking test. So if you're ready, Raghav, I'm on the Messenger, and if you were to send us a message via Messenger, then hopefully we will be able to have a conversation. So let me know in the chat if you managed to find our Messenger. If not, I can try and send you another link. So I will put the link to our Facebook group and Facebook Messenger into the chat. If you just bear with me a second. So there's a link to the Facebook Messenger if you would prefer to give this a go. Now, we've never done a mock speaking by Facebook Messenger before, so I don't know if it will work, but we will give it a go. So yeah, I'm here ready to do any speaking tests with anyone who would like to do a live mock speaking test with me. You have two options. You can join us via Zoom, or you can join us via Facebook Messenger. So if anyone would like to do a mock speaking test with me, feel free to let me know in the chat and we will get that started. And for you that will be listening along, we have a PowerPoint which you'll be able to see the questions as we go along. You can think about what you would like to say. So I have you covered there as well. So let's see if we can try and connect. The volume is too quiet. Can you hear me better? Testing. Perhaps I was too far away from the mic. Hear me better? Testing. How is that? Okay, it's better. Okay, fine. So we've got Aman and we've got Raghav in the chat. Would either of you like to have a mock speaking test with me right now? You can practice exactly what it's like. I've got a full exam prepared, part 1, part 2 and part 3. And if you want, we can also do just parts of tests. I can ask you just a few questions if you would just like to experience a little bit of it. So today, the entire live stream is for you guys to get on a call with me and we will do a mock speaking test. See, there are 2 ways that we can do that today. We can either join by Zoom. So from the messenger, there's a link in the description, Raghav. If you were to click on that and send us a message to the IELTS Grind, hopefully I can see it and we'll find a way to connect that way. Now, I've never done it by messenger before, so let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, then we'll have to try something else. We know from last weekend that the Zoom calls, they definitely do work. So if you have you can get a free Zoom call, free access to Zoom, and that can also work. Okay, so you sent us a message. Let me see if I can track down your message and find out what's happening. Okay. So let me try and figure this out. So see if we can actually have a look. Okay. So I want to connect with Raghav. How do I do this? Okay, just bear with me a moment. I am doing the admin and we'll see if we can get this to work. Okay, so Raghav, I've sent you a message back through Facebook. So if you see that, perhaps we can connect and have a phone call. Okay, I'm trying to give you a call. Like I said, we've never tried to do a call through through the messenger, so I don't know how this will work. So I'm finding it a little bit difficult to get in contact with Raghav for a call through Facebook, but we still do have the Zoom set up. So if there's anyone else who would like to do a Zoom call, we can still do this. Yeah, I'm looking at it, Raghav. It doesn't seem like we can do calls through this. Okay. Let me see if I can contact you a different way. Just give me 1 second. I'll try another way. Okay. You have a very, very common name, Raghav. So trying to find you in Facebook is a little bit tricky. Let me see if it gives me the option. Raghav, in the chat, can you send me, if you send me a link to your profile, yeah, Aman, if you would like to join us for a call, if you can join us on Zoom, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We can do it through Zoom, and we can have a mock speaking test. Otherwise, I just have some questions to show you, but it won't be as fun if we can't do a live speaking test. This is the highlight of the Friday live streams, is we get to chat together live. So we're having a bit of an issue with Facebook not letting us chat for some reason. But we still have the option of Zoom. If anyone is able to join me on the Zoom call, you've got all the details at the start of the chat. Oh, I see. Okay. It's not easy when you're at work to do this. So Zoom's not working for you, Raghav. Okay, well that's a shame. Right, well, in that case, what we will have to do then is we can just go through a couple of questions, and perhaps you can think about what you would say, and we will put them into the chat. Okay, so let's do this the old-fashioned way. If we're not able to connect this time, we'll try and sort this out for the future. It's a shame because Zoom, it worked really well last Saturday. We had 2 really good mock speaking tests, but never mind. Okay, so what we will do is just, yeah, so the Zoom link, let me send you the Zoom link again. Okay, just bear with me a second. Yeah, so the Zoom link is already in the chat. It's at the beginning of the chat. What I can do is I can pin, so the message is pinned at the top. You can find it there. And there's a password as well, which is also at the beginning of the chat. Password I will also put in the chat again. Yeah. So we can try for a Zoom call. I think this will be the best option right now. And then we can start this mock speaking test. Yeah. So we can do as many mock speaking tests as we need to, as many people who want to jump on the call. We can all have a bit of an experience, apart from Aman, because he is at work, unfortunately. He's got his nose to the grindstone, but luckily we've still got him listening, so that's excellent. So if you haven't used Zoom before, you should be able to join. You might just need to start a free account, but then you can join the chat. It should be okay. You just need a microphone. You don't need the video. We don't normally do the video calls, just to help protect your guys' identities and all that thing. Just need a microphone and we'll be able to have a conversation. And if you're listening along, that's the fun part. You'll be able to see the questions, think about what you would say and listen to people as they have a go. So it's not working for you? Okay, so can I quickly think of another alternative? Let me see. So hopefully everybody has a Google account. Okay, so we can try, let's see if we can try and use Google instead, have a Google meeting. So there is a shared meeting. I've not used Google Meet before, but we can try it. So there's a link in the description. If you have a Google account, you should be able to join and we can have a chat. In which case I will turn off my Zoom. So have a go with that, Raghav. See if you can join the Google meeting. So let me know in the chat, Raghav, if you have any luck joining the Google meeting. So if you're joining us, we're trying to do mock speaking tests live, but at the moment we're having a little bit of difficulty connecting with anyone. But this is your opportunity to get practice, have a mock speaking test with a real native English speaker, and I will give you some feedback if we do manage to have a mock speaking test. So I will give it a few more minutes, and if we are unsuccessful this time, we will try again on another live stream. But don't forget that we have lots of live streams coming up. If you come to the website IELTSGrind.com, so the IELTSGrind.com Livestream Schedule, you will find that we have all our upcoming live streams. So today is me, Phil, at 7 o'clock. We're looking at a live mock speaking test. And tomorrow you'll have Michael at 4 p.m. and he will be looking at process diagrams, how to write them. And then next week we have different live streams, all to do with writing and speaking. And of course next Friday we'll have another live mock speaking test, which I really do hope we manage to get a few people. Last Saturday we did our first ever live mock speaking test, and we had 2 people who did very, very well, and it was a bit of a success. Unfortunately today we're just not able to connect through Messenger. Facebook does not want us to chat about IELTS, but we have the options of Google Meet, which I'm doing now, and we can do Zoom. So Raghav, why is the Messenger not linking? It's a good question. It's possible because I'm doing that through we're actually doing it through the Facebook page for the IELTS Grind. Maybe that's why. I did try and find you with my own Facebook account, but that also wasn't working. Oh, we've got John Hamilton. Hello, welcome. So we're doing live speaking tests today, John. If you're interested in having a chat, doing a mock IELTS speaking test, you're very welcome to join us. At the moment I'm sitting in a Google meeting. There's a link in the chat, and whoever wants to join us, we'll give it a go. We'll go through a mock speaking test together. I think, Raghav, what I will do is I will arrange through your email. You sent us an email today. I'll arrange through that, and we can find a time. We'll find a time we can have this mock speaking test. If we don't do it today, that's okay. I'll do it another time, privately, just you and me, so you have the experience. It gives us a bit more time to find what's going wrong, because trying to do it live, it's not working. Okay, so we'll sit down when you're free, maybe this weekend, and we'll try and contact each other through Facebook, and we'll have this offline just to give you the experience. Is that okay, Raghav? Okay, yeah. So I don't know what's happening with this, Raghav, so we'll make sure we give you the experience as soon as possible, either me or with Michael, depending on the schedules. Hello, Naz. Welcome back. So we're trying to do the mock speaking tests. So last Saturday, Naz was one of the people that got on the live stream, did a live speaking test, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I'm just sitting in the Google Meet. It's live, just waiting for anyone who would like to get a free IELTS mock speaking test. The link to the Google Meet is in the description. I think you just need to have a Google Gmail account perhaps, or to sign into Google, and you should be able to join. And as soon as we have someone, we can do a mock speaking test. So this is a completely different one to the mock speaking test that we did last Saturday. And for everyone who is watching, I've prepared a PowerPoint, so you'll be able to see the questions as they go along. And so it should be useful to whoever is on the live mock speaking test and those people watching. But we just need someone who is brave enough to join me live. But now that I have a few of you in the chat, if you have any requests, anything that you would like us to cover on the IELTS Grind live streams, you just need to let us know. So we have our schedule up until the 3rd of July, and then after that we are open to suggestions. Remember that Michael and I, we're just here to help you. We do this, it's totally free. You just have to join us if you want to join us. But if there's something that you would like us to talk about, something that you're having trouble with, you can make a request in the chat now, or you can leave a comment on any of our videos and we'll do that. Okay, so I'll give it a few more minutes to see if anyone is going to join me for the live mock speaking test, and if not, then we will probably have to move on and we will try this again another time. So just to prepare, make sure that you get yourselves a free Zoom account or a free Google Gmail account. That way you can join us. Those are the best ways to do this because they're free for everyone, and you'll be able to talk to us live, get some direct feedback, because if you have a native tutor who can tell you what you can improve, it's going to increase your score much more quickly than if you study on your own. So this is a great opportunity if you're not currently in a class. And not many people do this on YouTube. And there won't be as many opportunities because obviously other IELTS channels at the moment have a bigger audience than we do. So we are very interested in helping all of you guys, and it means that you get much more opportunity to talk to us than you would do if you were talking to other people who have larger YouTube channels. So this is really a great opportunity. I'm really trying to sell it to you guys. Who wants to jump on a live mock speaking test with me right now? So last Saturday we were looking at different topics. So I spoke to Jesse first of all. So Naz, you're saying 1 or 2 o'clock in the day is the perfect time? Is that the time in India? Yeah. So is it a little bit too early for everyone? Everyone's at work perhaps, or still studying? Because if that's the case, then we might just move our live mock speaking tests to Saturdays, or do it at a different time. Okay, I see. Yeah, this is the issue with an international audience, isn't it? We have to find the best time. Okay, not to worry. Okay, I will talk to Michael and we will rearrange the schedule, and we will try and do the live speaking tests on weekends. I think that might be a better option for everyone. Okay, fair enough. Well, unfortunately, all my preparation for today was for the live speaking tests, and I think it would be most useful to use that for a live speaking test. So I will stick around if anyone has any questions, any issues you've had with your studies at the moment, just let me know and we can talk about that for a few minutes, and at least then I will feel I've done something useful today. I feel a bit bad. I really wanted to talk to Raghav, but technology is failing us today. So what are you studying at the moment? What have you been practicing? Let me know in the chat. Is there anything I can help you with? So you've been working on academic reading, Raghav. Okay. Are you using your keyword method where you read the questions, you underline the most important words or ideas? Yeah. So, Raghav, how long does it take you to read a text at the moment in your practice? Do you time yourself to see how long it takes you? Okay, so it takes you about an hour and a half to do all three texts. That's correct? Okay. Yeah, but this is practice. Everything takes longer when you're practicing. So what I would recommend is, if you're getting a score of 24 to 40, you're actually pretty close to what most people need to get, which is 6.5. But I seem to remember that you were aiming for slightly higher. So what you should do is look at the questions that you're getting wrong, okay? Don't just look at what the answer is. Go back to the test and try and figure out where the answer was, Why did you get it wrong? What was the word that confused you? Was there a word that changed the meaning? So a tricky word like only or all, or perhaps there was a contrasting structure where it said but or however later on in the text. These are the kind of things that normally trip you up. So it's much more valuable to find out why you got something wrong, because then you can work on that skill. It may be just because you've got gaps in your vocabulary. It may be because you're not reading the sentence before or the sentence after the keyword. So which book in particular, Raghav? Because obviously at our school we have access to all of these books, so we could actually go through some of these questions together. I know that Michael already did a really good video about Cambridge 15 for one of the reading texts. He was talking about nutmeg. That's a very popular text in Cambridge 15. Do you know the number on the book? Yeah, unfortunately, Naz, Raghav and I were having trouble connecting today, but we're going to have a private speaking test as soon as we can, so that he, definitely has the experience. We'll do that as soon as we figure out how to contact each other. Yeah, I might have to install WhatsApp, but we can find this. We can do this. We'll figure it out. Probably over the weekend. I'm teaching a class tomorrow in the afternoon, but perhaps in the evening or perhaps on Sunday we can fit it in. I'll send you an email, so either me or Michael will get in contact with you. Hello Nino, how are you today? So today, Nino, I am offering live speaking tests to anyone who is able to connect. So, let's see if I can find my link again. Oh, I'm not very au fait with this. Let me find the link again in the chat. So you should find a link to the Google Meet. It's now at the top of the chat. So I'm sitting in the Google Meet. I'm all alone. I'm just waiting for anyone who would like to have a speaking test. And we can do this, and I will give you a bit of feedback if necessary, and just give you some practice. Oh, excellent. Okay. Good. So Nino joined. So let's see if we can hear each other now. So if possible, you can turn on your microphone. You don't have to turn on your camera if you don't want.
Yeah, am I audible, sir, right now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay, excellent. Okay. Well, let's do this speaking test. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Also, I have some problems because I'm a beginner right now. And although I hope that I can.
So you're a little bit quiet, actually. I don't know if you can increase your microphone volume. We'll give it a go.
Yes, sir. I'm close to the mic right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So, Nino, where are you joining us from? Which country?
Sir, I'm from India,
Okay.
also state called Kerala, the southern part of India.
Oh, excellent. Okay. So, right. So I'm going to start this speaking test. Just give me a moment. I will start my timer and we'll do a full speaking test. So, right. So let's start with part one. Let's begin by talking about your hometown. What sort of place is your hometown? Can you still hear me, Nino? You still there, Nino? Can you still hear me? Okay, I can't hear you. Did we lose you? Oh no, looks like we lost Nino. Oh, that's a shame. If you can try and connect again, we'll give it another go. But, well, that's the first question anyway. So remember that the first part of the speaking test will always begin with questions either about your hometown or about work or study. And these are questions that you can predict, but obviously you don't want to spend too much time on these questions because you want to move on to the other questions in part one. So generally for part one, you want to give fairly short answers that are direct with 1 to 2 supporting sentences. That's absolutely fine. So let's see if we can get Nino back. So for those of you in the chat, how would you answer that question? What sort of place is your hometown? If you think you've got a good answer, you can type it in the chat. So Naz says, well, I live in a small town. It is quite residential and industrial areas. So Naz says, well, I live in a small town. It is quite residential and industrial areas. So Naz says, oh, well, I live got a bit of an echo going on. It's quite residential. Okay, that was strange. Sorry about that. It's because for some reason I had the output on. Okay, I don't know if I'm still going to have the echo. Getting some sort of echo there. Okay, right, I think I figured it out. Yes, sorry about that. I seem to have something playing in the background. I had the video playing. So, yes, Naz, you said, well, I live in a small town. It is quite residential and industrial area. I would say it is quite a residential, but also an industrial area. There are plenty of amenities and lots of things to do. Yeah. Nino, that's okay. Yeah, it's a shame that your network crashed. You can always join us again. Okay. So let's start up another meeting. We will do so I'm putting a link to a Google Meet in the chat, and anyone who would like to join for a mock speaking test, I see that Mohammed had joined us. Okay. So who have we got? Thamin, is this someone? Is your microphone working perhaps? So Nino, I moved the Zoom link for now, but we can try Zoom again. Let's see, we've got someone joining me in the Google Meet. If you want to turn on your microphone, say hello. Hello, can you hear me? Excellent. Where are you joining us from today? Which country are you joining us from today? Okay. And Thamim, is that how I say your name? Shahul? Okay. Right. Excellent. Okay. Excellent. So shall we begin a mock speaking test? Oh yeah, of course. Are you joining us for the first time? Okay. Okay. My name's Phil, And so this is our YouTube channel, the IELTS Grind. We do lots of live streams at the moment, but this is only the second time we're doing live mock speaking tests. Okay, so what I'm going to do is ask you some questions, and this will give you an idea of what the speaking test is like. Okay, so if you're ready, we're going to start with part one. That's perfectly fine. Let me explain the speaking test to you. So the way the speaking test works is part one of the speaking test will last around 4 to 5 minutes. Okay. And it's questions about you, about your life, and they will be familiar topics, family, hobbies, that sort of thing. Okay. And all you have to do is give direct answers. They don't have to be very long. That's fine. The second part of the speaking test, I will give you a topic, and you're going to have to talk about that for 1 to 2 minutes, and I will give you time to prepare what you want to say. Okay, and you get 1 minute of preparation. Then in part 3, I'm going to ask you slightly more difficult questions that maybe you've never thought of before. Okay, and here the idea is really to give a little bit more information, to give more reasons for what you're saying. So that's all you have to do in the speaking test. Yeah, so in order to get a higher band score, what you're trying to do is show that you are a very good English user. So it's not so much the uncommon vocabulary. You're trying to use the right word in the right situation. Okay, so let's give it a go, and we can talk about how you did afterwards. Okay, so let's start with the first question. So let's begin by talking about your hometown. What sort of place is your hometown? Okay. What are the main advantages of living there? What are the main advantages of living there? Did we lose you? That's okay. Don't worry about it. So next question. What are some things you would change about your hometown? Okay. Is it a good place for children? Okay. So just a technical issue there. Apparently, we couldn't hear your voice on the live stream. It should be okay now. So, I'd like to talk to you about music now.
Okay.
Do you like music?
Yeah, of course, I like the music, and I would hear the music when I'm just to have the time pass. So even when I get anxiety and to get to to kill my time, I would hear some musics to decrease those.
Have you ever learnt to play a musical instrument?
Yeah, I have loved to play a musical instrument, and that musical instrument is piano, and I love to play that. And also for that I also been gone for some training to play that, and also and I'm just have the interest to play on it, because there are some more of melodies, and some of the music varieties are there inside the piano rather than the other instruments.
Okay. What instrument do you think is best for children to learn?
Yeah, for children, the best instrument we can say it as the trumpet, because the flute we can say it as, because the flute is so simple, and we and everybody can operate it by easily by just blowing the air into the hole, and even it will be so beneficial even for the children to play on it, so that they get excited on from that, they get a pleasure from that.
Okay. And do you think music should be taught in schools?
Yeah, of course, music have to be taught, teached in the school, as it is a major thing. And also now in modern era, there have been lots of music have been evolved today in nowadays. So as a part of education, the music education is also to be practiced in the school.
Okay. So, what we're going to do is jump ahead and talk about part 2. Okay. So, I would like you to describe a work of art that you really like. Now, can you see the live stream? Can you see on screen what's written? Or you're not able to see this because you're on your phone?
Yeah, but it's not visible, I think so.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is to read it out to you. Okay, so describe a work of art that you really like. You should say what it is, who created it, where you saw it, and explain why you like it. Okay, so you said that you haven't had much practice with the speaking test. So I'm just going to explain what you should do here. Okay, so all you need to do is just to talk about a piece of art, a picture, a sculpture perhaps, and just make sure that you stay on topic, okay?
Okay.
And you can say anything you want about it, to be honest. But
Okay.
what you should try and do is, if possible, to tell about an experience you had. Perhaps you went to an art gallery, or perhaps a relative had a picture in the house that you remember as a child. Just try and stay on topic, okay?
Okay.
What I'm going to do is give you 1 minute to think about what you want to say. And then after that, you need to talk about this for 1 to 2 minutes, okay?
Okay.
So you
So
have...
can I So I have some more minutes to prepare on
Yeah.
that topic, right?
So you get 1 minute in the exam to think about what you want to say. Okay. So you have
Okay.
1 minute starting now to think. Okay, so I would like you to describe a work of art that you really liked. Remember, you have to talk about this for 1 to 2 minutes, and if
Okay.
I interrupt you after 1 to 2 minutes, that's okay. Do you understand?
Yeah, yeah, I could understand it.
Okay, so you can start talking now.
Yeah, okay. So the famous art which have been inspired recent in a recent day was art called mountain flowing. So this art has been drawn by the Blake Wright. The author of this art is called as Blake Wright, and he mainly describes this art is mainly meant for only for the nature. And whenever I get to look onto this art will keep my heart and my mind so pleased, and it will get to and it will get to help in my eradication of my stress. And this art will be look like the in the between the mountains there will be a sunset, and that sunset will be occurring in the evening side. And on that evening after beside the mountains there will be some of the trees, a bunch of trees will be there. In the tree some birds will be sitting, and and some of the birds, elder birds will give feed will feed to the youngest birds. And that picture so looks so delighted, and it will be so fascinating. And that evening that picture also is being drawn by only by the pencils, and some color pencils, and some of the frogs and even rivers will be going through on side from the mountain. So these are some of the natures which have been observed in that art.
Thank you.
And
Okay,
okay.
so is it an expensive piece of art? Do you think?
uh, yeah, that's it's a expensive picture. And
Okay,
also no
that's
yeah,
okay, yeah.
that,
So,
okay, okay.
just a tip here: the examiner will often interrupt you after part two, and they will ask you a question. This is the only question where you can say yes or no, because all the examiner would like to do is to end part two and to begin part three. That's what we're going to do now. So,
Okay.
we were talking about a work of art. Let's now talk about art in general, okay? So, in your opinion, is art an important part of culture?
Yeah, Yeah, of course, it's the art is important for our life, and also the sculpture which is being derived from the art is majorly it need the world needs it, because to know the histories and some of the natures to be absorbed by other people can get easily get the guidance from that art. And as this art is being also it is being drawn by so hard from that author, it describes the feeling, emotions, and empathy from the author's side. And by that thing, we can get to know the correct aim of author and the best agenda what the author is describing about the art. And it will be more useful for the childrens to know the histories and to know the best education and they can get to train themselves adequately from that art by looking up to the pictures, natures, and some observations from the art. So the art is more essential nowadays to be described as sculptures.
Okay. Uh, what would life be like without art?
Without the arts, the life will be bored, because we do not know much of things and much of knowledge about the histories, the ancestors, what are all been done before the era. We can't even know the histories. And and also some of the archaeologists just roaming over the world and finding those arts because to know the history at all. So
So
if arts
you mentioned history. Do you feel that studying art is as important as studying history, or is history a more important subject to study?
Yeah, not at all. Arts is not much important than the history, because arts will some of the art pictures only will be described and only will be shows as a kind of only a meaning, but the history of the economy and history of the world will show up the everything in the society and what are all just being prevailed in the society. So as I will give much of importance to the history rather than the arts.
Okay. So why do you think people like to have paintings in their homes?
Sorry, I couldn't get you.
Why do you think people like to have paintings in their homes?
Yeah, many of the people just thinking that keeping a paint in their home will maintain a good and peaceful life, as if that they whenever they get to going to the job, and they will get to come to their home with a stressed manner and with a bad mood. And when they get to see the best painting which is being attached on their wall, they will be get excited, and also it can also reduce the stress and can relax yourself, and it will be a quick insane process which will you give you a sudden a motivation. And then painting also, some of the rich people and luxurious people keep their wall with attractive paintings, because to have a better look to have a better look to their home, and to have their home in a decorated manner.
Okay. And do you agree with this statement? Graffiti is a form of art and should be respected.
Yeah, of course, the arts must be recorded, and also it should be respected, because the arts are all being just being drawn and are all it being painted by some of the authors sacrifices and by their hard works. So we should not encourage to destroy the arts, because these arts are all being derived because of their hard work. So we should not waste
So
their hard
you
works.
mentioned destroying art. Are there any circumstances when we should destroy art?
There are some circumstances which some persons in the world, over the world, will destroy the arts because of some annoying features in that, because may they not love that art, or may they not love their author of that art, so they want to destroy and to rechange the art structure, because to shame the author, or to have a bad full meaning to be presented in that art.
Okay, thank you. That is the end of the speaking test.
Okay,
How do you
thank
feel
you.
about that?
Yeah, it's quite annoying, and also it's so surprising, the question which you asked.
Yeah. So here's a tip for everyone listening. Did you notice how you were saying something and I would interrupt you and ask you a question about something that you said in particular? Did you
Yeah,
notice that?
yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed that when I get to when I get to going through on a topic, you just interrupt
Yeah.
me and just ask you another topic.
So what the examiner will be doing at that point is they're trying to test your boundaries. Can you expand on what you're saying? Okay. And this is the reason why when people tell you, oh, I took this exam and these were the questions that they asked me, the questions in part 3 are always different because the examiner will often ask you follow-up questions about what you said. But I think you did very well. Every time I did it, you were a bit surprised, but you managed to answer the question. So that was fine. Yeah.
Okay.
But just,
So can I know the score? What will I get in
yeah. So
this?
let me give you some feedback. So you're graded in 4 different ways for the speaking test. So fluency and coherence, you've got lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and you've also got pronunciation, okay? So
Okay.
in terms of fluency, I think you're doing very well. You seem very comfortable talking about familiar topics, so part 1, and you seemed fairly comfortable with the unfamiliar topics, part 3, okay? But
Okay.
when it comes to coherence, my advice to you is slow down a little bit. You're speaking very quickly, and I feel that it is hurting your coherence a little bit. What you want to do is when you have a question, for example, do you like art? The way that we answer this in English is we directly answer the question. So, for example, I would say, yes, I like art for several reasons. Or, no, I don't like art. I find it very ugly. And then afterwards, provide a few supporting sentences. You don't actually have to have a very, very long answer. So, what was happening is with your longer answers, you were kind of losing the kind of the path that you started on. So my
Okay.
advice would be slow down a little bit. If you need time to think, just say, that's an interesting question, or no one's ever asked me that before. Let me think. That's perfectly okay. And
Yeah,
then,
can
yeah,
we say like that when examiner asks the question?
yeah, of course, yeah. If I ask you a question like, do you agree that graffiti is art and it should be protected? You can say, that's an interesting question. This shows the examiner that you have understood. You just need time to think of your opinion, not
Um.
to think of the word that you want to use. This is
Okay.
this is what we do in normal conversation, okay? So
Okay.
you don't have to speak really quickly. You don't have to start speaking straight away. You can tell the examiner that you've understood, but you're just forming your answer, okay? So
Okay.
coherence would be improved if you did that a little bit, okay? Uh,
Okay.
the but in terms of fluency, very, very good. You have no problem. You talk about everything, and I could understand I would say 99% of what you were saying. You lost me in little places here and there just because you extended your answer a little bit too much. In terms of vocabulary, you use a lot of high-level vocabulary. That's great. But there are still some inaccuracies or misuses. For example, remember that children is always in the plural, children. A child, two children. And you said children's quite often. So just watch out for that. And when talking about an author is someone who writes a book. An artist is someone who creates art. Okay? So when you said those things, I still understood what you're saying. But just try and be a little bit more accurate.
Okay.
And in terms of grammar, again, I understood everything you were saying, but just practice the difference between things like, for example, I will do this, a future intention, and the city is beautiful, a fact. Sometimes you were using future tense where you should be using present tense. And for example, at the beginning, you said, I'm living in a city. Now, that is correct if you're only there on a temporary basis. But if you've lived in your city for a long, long time, you would say, I live. So just work on the very subtle differences between the tenses. This will help you improve your score. And overall pronunciation, all I would say is you should listen to more native English TV and try to copy the way that we talk with our intonation, the way that our voices rise and fall. And if you copy the way we speak, you will help improve your pronunciation, which is not just accent, it's things like intonation, word stress, sentence stress, and things like that. Overall, I think you would be somewhere in a band 6 to 7, but much closer to a 7. But with a little bit of work, you might be able to push that higher. But if that was your first attempt at a speaking test...
Yeah, this was my first session.
I think that was really, really good. I think all you need to do, go and watch a couple of example speaking tests on YouTube. See what you have to do in the different parts, and you'll do much better. I feel that you thought that you had to give very, very long answers, but you don't have to. And in fact, that might actually hurt your score. But overall, I think you did very, very well. So feel very happy about that. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. So don't forget, if you want to join us for another mock speaking test on this channel, you can join us next time. I think next weekend we will be doing some more. Okay? So thanks.
So basically, where are you from? The country? Where are you from?
Oh, okay. So I'm from the UK.
Okay.
I actually live and work in Taiwan. And my colleague, who also runs this channel with me, Michael, he's from the USA. So watching our channel, you get to hear the British accent and the American accent, which is really useful because you're going to hear at least those two accents in the test, if not more. But yeah. Okay. So I will say goodbye and thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
So well done for that. Very good work. And hopefully talk to you again later. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, bye. Okay, so that was a very good performance. I've lost my my page. So a very good performance there. So guys, thanks for joining me today. So unfortunately, we didn't quite manage to get too many people through the mock speaking tests. I think from talking to you guys in the chat, it seems that this time of day, especially for you joining us in India, it's not a great time. So we had some people still at work and things like that. So what I will do is we will try and arrange to have this on a weekend, or we're trying to have it at a later time on a Friday evening, so we can try and match up with people from India, because it seems that we have a lot of viewers from India, which is great. So sorry for all the technical issues we had today. We're still trying to figure this out. We'll get better at this. And yeah, so hopefully I will see some of you again in our live streams in the future. Remember that tomorrow you've got Michael at 4 p.m. This is Taipei time, and you can check on our website, the IELTSGrind.com live stream schedule, when these are. And Michael will be talking about process diagrams, and I will be back on Monday around the same time. Yeah. So yeah, we'll try and figure out the timing for you, Naz. Okay. So thanks very much everyone for watching, and I will say good night. Enjoy your weekend and see you later. Bye bye.